Morning. It's January the 3rd, and I was checking on our seed potatoes because I'm just about ready to get these out and start sprouting them out. Just wanted to show you how I store them. We don't have a garage and we don't have a basement. We just have a crawl space. So this is our back room, the back corner room of our home, and I've taken the register vent out for the heating duct, and I cut a piece of foam to put inside the register vent to stop the heat from coming in here. There is a flapper on the register vent, and I even turning it, the heat still came through there. So I just cut a piece of foam out of an old couch cushion, and I shoved it down in the hole, and it seems to keep this room about between, depending on how cold it is outside, between 40 and 60 degrees. So we've taken and stored some of our seed potatoes in buckets in a little plastic pan, and then these are milk crates stacked on top of each other, and the potatoes are layered. There's a layer of potatoes, then some newspaper, then another layer of potatoes, and some newspaper. So these potatoes, these are Yukon Golds from the 11-11-22 harvest, and you can see, let me get that out there. There's none of these guys sprouting out yet. This was the last harvest we did. So they're doing pretty good. No eyes coming out yet. Put that back in there. And I just lay them in a bucket. This bucket's got holes in the bottom of it, and air can get in there. And then I just lay that piece of paper to keep the light out of it when we're in here in the room working, and then lay some plastic bags over it. And then here's our little pan, and these were Yukon Golds, and they were harvested 10-2-22. And you can see they're just now starting to sprout out. So within the next couple of weeks, I'm going to get these in the other room under lights, so I can get these sprouts to start turning colors, because I'll start planting these in March, if the weather's permitting. And then we have these are the oldest. I've already checked on these, and these things are starting to sprout out pretty good. So those were both Yukon Golds. This is a Baby Dutch variety here in the top. Move the newspapers here. And you can see how well these things are starting to sprout out. Actually, they're sprouting a little bit faster than I wanted, so the room's not as cold as we really need it. But you got to make do with what you got. Like I say, we don't have a root cellar or a basement or a garage, so we make do. And I've got 2 layers. Actually, this is the last layer here. We've eaten some of these, so this is the last layer. This is what we'll be planting of the Baby Dutch, and these were harvested 10-22, and they're sprouting out really well. So let me put this back, and then we'll move this top one. And then in here is some more Yukon Golds, and they were from, there's one row. These were the big guys. They were from 9-22, and you can see they're starting to they're still solid potatoes, nice and solid, but they're starting to sprout out pretty good. So we're going to get these. Once I put them in the sunlight, they'll stop stretching for light, and they'll start turning purple to form a plant or a green shoot. So let's check on these and get these back down in there. So that was from 9-22. These are Yukon Golds. And then on the bottom, which you can see here, it's already growing out the side of this carton. And these are milk crates. I found these at the curb. All 3 of them. It didn't cost me anything, and they're great for storage because they have all the air holes on the side and at the bottom, and it lets whatever you can store, onions and potatoes and garlic, whatever you want to store in there, gets the air to them. Now these are the ones that's really going crazy. So let's move this. And these, there's 2 rows of these. I think maybe even 3 rows. Yeah, 3 rows of these. And you can see they're starting to look like baby octopuses. But the taters they're just starting to get a little soft. And that's why I put the newspaper between the rows. Because if we have one go bad, that newspaper will suck up the moisture and I can get it out of here. I check on these probably once every 2 months. So I haven't really checked on them much since we've harvested them. But you can see these things are really coming out now. And in probably another week, I'll go ahead and I'll get my egg cartons out. And I'll set these in an egg carton. And I'll set them under my lights in there so they can start making a flower. I may even, like some of these really long ones, I may just cut that shoot off because it's way too long to try to plant. By the time it gets ready to plant out here, this thing will be 2 foot long. So we may just take some scissors and snip off these and just leave the other ones. And you can see they're still even growing out the side over here. But they'll do fine. I've even planted them just like that. I planted the whole potatoes and was very gentle with putting the soil around it, and they did just fine. This is not rotting. This is just dirt. Whenever you store your potatoes, you don't want to wipe the dirt off. You leave all that dirt on there, and they'll eye out pretty nice. So I got the light on in here, so I'm going to get these covered back up pretty good. And this is the ones from 822. So they're doing pretty good. So here within next 2 weeks, I'll make another video of how we get them out here and get them started and under some grow lights. Because usually around the 1st or 2nd week in March, like I say, weather permitting, we'll go ahead and we'll get these things planted. And there's how we store our seed potatoes. If you don't have a root cellar or a basement or a cold garage, if you have a spare bedroom that you can close off your register vent and keep it nice and cool, and we've actually hung up some pretty dark curtains so the sunlight can't get through our we have 2 windows in the room, but we have 2 layers of dark curtains on the windows and the sunlight can't get through. And we keep the light off in here, and we keep the register vent closed off, and that's how we store our seed potatoes, and until we're able to get them out and for the next year and start growing them. Thanks for watching.